You're a college kid or a bachelor living far away from home and you're missing your home style chicken curry. Well, let me teach you a very simple way to do this. Okay, you can make this at home. It's very easy. You just need some ginger garlic paste. Usually these are store bought in America and Europe or wherever you're staying. Okay, add a little bit to that your chicken. Thigh boneless is what I've used. You can use curry cut. I don't think you can find curry cut in America or Europe. Thigh boneless is the easiest option. I have some cumin powder. For your sake, for measurement's sake, I do everything by andaza. That's how, my grandmom, my mom, everyone's taught me to cook when it comes to Indian food. Use a teaspoon or tablespoon of cumin. You want to use a teaspoon of garam masala. Okay. You want to put salt to taste. Now with salt to taste, you can put a little bit right now if you are worried about over salting your food. Just a little bit, a pinch should be fine to begin with. Okay, this is just to get the chicken going. Okay, with haldi, now the trick is I've seen a lot of people put like heaps of haldi. No, you want only a teaspoon of haldi. Okay, haldi and red chili powder. It's about 1 tablespoon. Okay, now another thing you should know is that if you're using haldi for anything, example haldi doodh or just haldi water, even haldi anywhere, right? Add a pinch of black pepper to it, because in terms of nutritional value, the haldi is not effective without black pepper. Okay, it needs black pepper to kick start your system. So you're going to take this and nicely mix the chicken, leave it overnight, an hour, 2 hours. That's up to you how strong you want your chicken to taste. Okay, now if you have some vinegar or lemon juice, that also will help break down the chicken faster in terms of tenderness. So you can add a little bit of that too. A little bit of that acid helps too. Now another thing you can do is also put some yogurt in this and leave it overnight. So it's a pretty simple recipe through and throughout. Okay, this is good to go. I have my fire going in my pot. I'm just going to add a little bit of the oil, okay, and bring this to a good heat. So I'm going to avoid adding some sabut spices because it's going to be easier on you only. Instead, I'm going to work with powdered spices just so that you can emulate this wherever you are. Powdered spices are much easier to find. Okay, so with the garlic, I'm going to nicely toss it around till it's nice and sweating. I'm not going to brown it completely just yet. I'm going to add onions to it, then brown it. Okay, the garlic is nicely cooking. Now, just to run you down about the spices that I have here, I have haldi, garam masala, jeera, salt, red chili powder. Okay, that's all you need. These are the basic household spices. You don't need anything else for this recipe. Okay, this honestly, you just pack it up from India itself. Well, I'm assuming you're out of India, but even if you're living alone in India, this is all you need. Okay, my garlic is slightly turning brown, so I'm quickly adding the onions into it. Okay, and I'm going to let the onions cook in the oil till the liquid starts separating. Okay, while this cooks, in terms of the other ingredients, I have a tomato. I have like 2 tomatoes cut up over here, and instead of cutting down chilies, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 1 chili and slice it from the center and add it when the curry is coming to almost a close. That itself will give a more intensified flavors than me burning the crap out of chilies. I've stopped doing that henceforth, in my curries. So if you notice, the oil and the onions are right now kind of separating. You don't want it at this stage when you're adding your tomatoes. It will start reducing and you'll only see the oil. You want this water to go away. So that is what you want to do. See, the garlic has also started browning when I've added the onions. Keep stirring it so it's nice and caramelized. Honestly, you can do this curry base for anything. You can use this for matar paneer, you can use it for paneer, you can use it for rajma, just any base at all. But except for rajma, what you're going to do is when the curry is made, you're going to take some of your boiled rajma, blend it into a nice paste and add it to that, so it makes it that nice ghar wala, Delhi wala rajma wala taste, kyunki wo gaada hota hai. So anyways, now I'm adding the tomatoes into it. Listen to that. Love that sound. This is when the food is dancing. I saw this in the bear. It was actually a very nice thing for him to say. The food is dancing. Okay, you want to slightly mash it with your spoon. It makes a nice little paste. turning into a nice little paste. We want this to break down a little bit more and like evaporate the water. So I'm lightly just tapping the tomatoes constantly while stirring it. I was sitting on my phone earlier when they were off camera, so you just do that. You can do like lots of things while doing it. So to this, I have some tomatoes blended. I'm gonna add this puree into this. Yeah, it's a lot of tomatoes, I know. But honestly, we're gonna balance this out with water. So we're gonna reduce the acidity, and the spices also will reduce it, okay? So just like probably half a cup of the tomato puree. This will be my base. I've increased the flame. Okay, and I'm going to add water to this now. No, actually I won't add water just yet. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add the spices to it to let the tomatoes cook in the spices, okay? So about a tablespoon of the red chili powder. Salt to taste. Okay, some jeera powder, which is cumin powder. Okay, a little bit of garam masala, like a teaspoon should be enough. We don't want too much of this, okay? And then, actually I don't need haldi right now. Okay, we're gonna nicely cook the masala in this. Okay. This smells quite nice. Oh yeah, you also need some coriander leaves at the end of it to just garnish, okay? But I will not be using coriander leaves, so please do not follow my steps, because what I'm gonna do after this, watch out for the next video. I am going to take this recipe and I'm going to turn this into a quick leftover chicken curry ghee rice, okay? It's one of my favorite things to make, especially when I'm on a diet, because I can't eat any gluten right now for my diet. And you know, so rice is my savior, and if I'm craving Indian food, this is what I make. Okay, now I'm going to, once the spices, the raw flavor of the spices is gone, I'm going to add the water to it. Okay, just a little bit, half the water first. I'm going to cook the tomatoes a little bit more. Now that the masala has dried a little bit, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add the chicken to this, okay? The chicken itself has its own masala, so it is also going to supplement the flavors. See now, the Thai chicken boneless, I've kept it as whole thighs. Now if you want to cut it up into smaller pieces, please feel free to do that. Do not always have to follow my lead, okay? It's going to cook in this masala before I add the water. Now before I add the water, I'm going to take the split chilies like I had mentioned earlier and put it into the curry, which is also cooking the chicken. This will now start incorporating the flavors into it. Okay, I'm going to reduce the flame a tad bit and I'm going to add the water. So this, I've added the water. Now what we're going to do is we're going to let it sit in high flame, put the cover lid on, let the chicken become let the chicken cook a bit more, let it become a bit more tender. So when you're using a roti or a rice, it's quite tender and easy to break, okay? So I have been cooking this in low flame and the water has evaporated a little bit and become nice and thick, like saucy. Okay, I tasted this off screen. I felt like the salt and cumin powder was a little less. So add it based on your own, your own flavor preferences. Now it's reaching perfect. In my eyes, the perfection. I already added a spoon extra of each. Okay. With this, my chicken curry is over. Just garnish it with some coriander leaves. But I'm not going to do that. Like I said, I'm going to make some ghee rice next. Okay, so keep following.